September 1992, Palm Springs, California. It was just after 8 o'clock, and the heat was already beginning to spread across the asphalt. Jennifer Asbenson, a 19-year-old girl with soft facial features and a look that spoke of mild naivety, was standing at a bus stop. She was late. Being late for the bus meant being late for work at a home for children with special needs. It wasn't just a job, it was her way of feeling needed. When a car slowly pulled up to the curb, she didn't pay much attention at first. The man behind the wheel looked ordinary. He offered a ride. She hesitated. Upbringing and intuition were ringing alarm bells in her head. But he was polite, even slightly shy. He assured her that he just wanted to help. It seemed safe, and in the end, she needed to hurry. She got in. She didn't know that the driver's name was Andrew Urdiales and he was a serial killer. His voice was even, almost mechanical. He asked questions without looking at her. She began to feel anxious when he suddenly changed the route. Instead of turning towards her workplace, he headed away from the city, towards where the desert began. Andrew became aggressive. With coarse phrases, he ordered her to be silent. Jennifer's heart was pounding so loudly that it seemed to fill the interior. When he stopped, she tried to escape. He grabbed her, tied her hands, raped her, beat her. He said he would kill her, and then a moment came. A moment of terrifying clarity. She had to survive. She had to get out, at all costs. Andrew locked Jennifer in the trunk. Darkness and suffocating heat surrounded her, but she didn't give up. She felt for the latch. Her hands were tied, but adrenaline and desperation gave her strength. She managed to free her hands and jump out of the trunk on the run. She was running barefoot, in torn clothes, with blood and sand on her face. Urdiales noticed the escapee, abruptly stopped the car, and ran after her, brandishing a machete. It was like something out of a horror movie, Jennifer recalls. She was lucky, and the driver of a passing truck, noticing the chase, stopped, scared off the maniac, and thus gave the girl her life. He took her in, and she cried, unable to believe that all this was happening in reality. She had been saved. Andrew Urdiales committed his crimes for 10 years, traveling through the states of Illinois and California. The first murder occurred in 1986, when a Marine first tested the skills he had acquired in service in real life. He primarily attacked young women. Urdiales was never caught then. He continued his crimes until 1997, when he was arrested and sentenced to death for the murder of 8 women. The sentence was not carried out. The awaiting punishment maniac decided to end his life in solitary confinement. Jennifer was the only one who escaped, the only one who could tell the world what he was like. Today, she tells his story herself, from the stage, in front of cameras, in interviews, and in her book. Not to relive the pain, but to inspire others, to say, you can survive. Even if it seems like you're already dead inside, you can get out.
Jennifer Asbenson. Sometimes people think that surviving is the end, as if escaping is the point, the victorious conclusion. But in reality, it's only the beginning. I survived. But I didn't return home as a hero. I returned broken. I had cuts, wounds, bruises. But the worst was that no one could see. The wounds inside, dreams where I was back in the trunk, sudden panic attacks in parking lots when someone approached from behind. Fear that seeps into every moment, even the sunniest ones. The diagnosis came later, post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't know how to live with it. I was ashamed. I was angry at myself. You escaped, you're alive. Why can't you just be happy? Because surviving isn't always victory. Sometimes it's a burden. For a long time, I kept silent. I lived in fear that he would come for me. I was afraid of judgment. And most of all, I was afraid of myself, the one he almost destroyed. But one day, I stood in front of the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, I saw not a victim, but a person who survived. A person who could speak, not just for themselves, but for those who didn't manage to escape, for those whose names remained only in police reports. I started speaking, writing, telling my story on television, in podcasts, to girls in shelters and college auditoriums. With each story, the fear grew quieter. I haven't forgotten, and I won't forgive. But I regained control. I'm no longer that 19-year-old girl standing on the side of the road. I am Jennifer Asbenson, a woman who survived hell and didn't burn. I learned to love myself again. I learned to laugh, not because everything is good, but because I am alive. My book isn't about the killer. It's not about darkness. It's about the light that found its way through the cracks. And if you're reading this and you're hurting, no, you're not alone. And if you think you can't cope, no, I thought that too. And now I'm writing to you from here, from the other side.